Well, welcome. We are in episode 34. We're going to be talking about, I believe, our first movie theme misheard song lyric. And the song we're going to be talking about is the theme song to Ghostbusters, or Who You Gonna Call, written by Ray Parker Jr. So the misheard lyric is, Those Bastards! And the correct lyrics is the title song name, Ghostbusters. The funny thing is, I have to laugh because when I hear it, and you'll hear it in a second, it sounds like a group of my Filipino family members singing karaoke, which we love to do. Surprise, surprise. And singing it in unison with our strong Filipino accent, saying, Those bastards! It was actually written by Ray Parker Jr. as a theme to the film of the same name, starring, you guessed it, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, the late Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson. And the main vocal was done by Ray Parker Jr. He did the vocals, guitar, and he was also known by his band Radio, spelled Raydio, and performed with Barry White prior to this. He also had bass player Louis Johnson do the song, Greg Phalangenes, so I think you say it, keyboards and synthesizer, and Carlos Vega in drums. Now, interesting thing is, I remember it when I was a mere 12 years old. It debuted at number 68 on June 16th, 1984. The song reached number one on the Billboard Hot 100 on August 11th, 1984. So it didn't take long for it to hit number one, and it stayed there for 3 weeks, and I remember that. And at number two on the UK singles chart on September 16th, 1984, staying there also for 3 weeks. Then the interesting thing is also the song re-entered the UK Top 75 in November 2nd, 2008 at number 49. I don't know why 2008, it just had a resurgence, but it did. Now, did you know it was nominated at the 57th Academy Awards for Best Original Song, but actually lost to Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You. I love that song. I just called to say I love you. From the 1984 movie The Lady in Red, with one of my favorite comedic actors, Gene Wilder. So it lost to that song. But I will be sharing with you later on that there was a lawsuit of plagiarism for this song. I did not know this. So the background is, according to Ray Parker Jr., he was approached by the film's producers to create this theme song for this film, but he only had a few days, and actually I found after doing much research, 3 days to do that. And the film's title seemed impossible to include any lyrics, so he had to use something with Ghostbusters and something to tie in the theme. And in this Wikipedia update, it says, however, when watching television late at night, Parker supposedly saw a cheap commercial for a local service that reminded him that he had to have some kind of commercial that featured this fictional business of these Ghostbusters. And so that's why the song was inspired to write the song as kind of like a pseudo advertising jingle that the business could have commissioned as a promotion. And there were talks that Lindsey Buckingham was approached to write the Ghostbusters theme because he had done a successful contribution to Harold Ramis's National Lampoon's Vacation, the song Holiday Road. Holiday Road. Oh my God, these songs. He turned down the opportunity as he did not want to be known as a soundtrack artist. Obviously, he didn't want money, or he had too much money, I guess. That he apparently mentioned this in the Words and Music interview disc. It was also known later that they approached Huey Lewis because remember he was doing several movie themes. He did that great theme, "The Power of Love," to Back to the Future, but we'll get more to that later. So let's talk about the music video. So the music video has a lot of amalgamation of scenes from the actual movie. It was actually directed by Ivan Reitman, the same director of Ghostbusters, and produced by a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Abelson. Okay, and it features a young woman played by actress Cindy Harrow who's haunted by a ghost, portrayed by Parker, roaming a nearly all black house interior with vibrant neon designs. It also contains footage from the film and features cameos from many celebrities during the day, from many celebrities of the day, including Chevy Chase, Irene Cara of Fame, John Candy, Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie. Remember that, guys? Aw. Let's see who else. George Wendt, who was in Cheers, he played Norm. Danny DeVito, Carly Simon, so a lot to name a few. And they would all exclaim the songs Ghostbusters, or in our theory, this episode is Those Bastards. And then Chase appears again after Terry Garr to do the refrain as he chokes. Okay, Chase, never mind. Anyway, so there's a lot of cameos to begin with. So the video concludes with Parker and the stars of the film in full Ghostbuster costume dancing down the streets of New York City. The crew closed down Times Square to film that scene, which is amazing. That's a lot to close down. And then the Ghostbusters also performed the same dance in the closing credits of the real Ghostbusters cartoon series, as well as a trailer for the 2009 Ghostbusters video game. I didn't know there was a video game. So let's talk about the lawsuit. Did you guys know about the lawsuit? I did not know. So when the theme song of Ghostbusters was released, Huey Lewis was like, "Huh, kind of sounds really familiar." So he actually sued Columbia Pictures and Ray Parker Jr. for copyright infringement, stating that the Ghostbusters song was a little too similar to his song "I Want a New Drug." Lewis had been approached to compose the main theme for this film. So I alluded earlier, after Lindsey Buckingham said no, he said no. They went to Ray Parker, supposedly. Now, what happened was the three parties settled into court, and supposedly the details of that settlement, specifically that Columbia paid Lewis some kind of settlement, we didn't know the amount at that time, remained confidential until 2001 when Lewis commented about the payment of it in an episode of VH1's Behind the Music. I love those series. It just really delved into it. That's when it kind of broke loose. So Parker subsequently sued Lewis for breaching confidentiality. And so I found several articles. So let me cite a couple of them. One was an MTV article written on March 23rd, 2001 by Terry Van Horn. And this writer, I'm assuming it's a female with an I, said the settlement agreement Lewis and Parker reached for that lawsuit in 1995 banned them from revealing any information that was not included in a press release that they jointly issued at the time. The press release stated that the matter had been amicably resolved, quote unquote. So Parker's lawsuit quotes Huey Lewis, which it's actually his name is Huey Craig, I didn't know that, saying on Behind the Music, quote unquote, this is what Huey Lewis, aka Huey Craig, said is, the offensive part was so much that Ray Parker Jr. had ripped the song off. It was kind of symbolic of an industry that wants something. They wanted our wave and they wanted to buy it. It's not for sale. In the end, I suppose they were right. I suppose it was for sale because basically they bought it. Oof. So that money was paid to resolve the lawsuit and was supposed to have this protected confidentiality agreement per Parker. And then when Huey Lewis did that interview on Behind the Music in 2001, the lawsuit states that the confidentiality agreement was directly related to Parker's comfort, happiness, and welfare, and that Lewis's comments were inflammatory and disparaging and false and caused Parker emotional stress. He was seeking an unspecified amount of compensatory and punitive damages, as well as lawyers' fees and further relief as the court deemed just and proper. It's like, whoa. So I did a lot more digging to see, what was the amount that actually he had said per Huey Lewis, aka Huey Craig, and did Mr. Parker get any settlement for his countersue? So then I did some more searching down another rabbit hole, and I found an online article written by a contributor by the name of Stacy Conrad from Mental Floss, written on October 31st, 2013. So she writes, the issue, quote unquote, allegedly the producers behind Ghostbusters approached Ray Parker Jr. and asked him to come up with a song that included the name of the film but was rather simple otherwise. They played Huey Lewis's I Want a New Drug for Parker as an example of the sound they wanted, and Parker apparently just lifted the bass line and guitar riff almost directly. Huey Lewis and his people sued for $5 million. So there's the amount. We didn't know what the amount is, and so I'm assuming that's what he ended up getting. And as for Ray Parker, he countersued for the breach of the confidentiality results. But I could not find anything yet, again, to see whatever happened to that countersue and was there any amount paid. So fast forward, found a recent online article, and this is the most interesting one, so I want to give some props to this gentleman. It was written on December 25th, 2019, so just recently, by a gentleman by the name of Jared H., and it's with Ledger Note. And when I did more digging, Jared H. happens to be the owner, editor, lead author, and web designer of Ledger Note. And he writes that Huey Lewis did get the $5 million settlement that Ray Parker Jr. allegedly stealing his guitar riff, bass line and other elements of the song, so that's how much he got. But he still, at this time, I still again could not find if Ray Parker Jr. did get any money for his countersuit. And if he did, and if Huey Lewis is keeping quiet this time with no countersuits, we will never know. But what I found interesting is what Jared H. wrote. He wrote, quote unquote, the filmmakers in the interview flat out admitted that during the editing process of the movie, they were using I Want a New Drug as a temporary background music in any scene that needed it. Exactly what Mental Floss contributor Stacy Conrad wrote back on October 31st in 2013. They also admitted that after Huey Lewis couldn't commit to writing the theme song, they literally sent Ray Parker Jr. a scene as inspiration to aid him in writing his version of the song that included I Want a New Drug. Okay, that's suspect. It gets even more interesting. So then Jared H. says, well, okay, now let's move forward. Huey Lewis supposedly gets his $5 million. Ray Parker Jr. does get paid from the royalties of, from the movie. We don't know if the countersuit was any fruition to him. But then he's like, what about the guitar riff? It actually sounds like another song that maybe Huey Lewis might have taken from. So Jared H. says he had seen throughout the internet and heard that maybe Huey Lewis got his guitar riff from another song, and he provides a great point with a 1979 song from a band called M with their song Pop Music. Everyone, pop music. It was a hit, number 2 on the UK charts, number 1 in Canada, and number 1 in the United States. And I'm going to have all 3 songs after this. You can hear and make your own conclusions, but I might have to agree with Jared H. about his theory as well, that could it be that the song from not only Ghostbusters that was ripped from Huey Lewis's I Want a New Drug actually begat from the original song of Pop Music by M. We'll never know, but I learned so much. I went through so many rabbit holes, and it all started with those bastards. So it's actually kind of perfect. It's kind of full circle. There was a lot of bastarding of this song. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If any of these wonderful contributors, Stacy Conrad or Jared H. or Terry Van Horn, listen to this and have any comments or love to be on the show, I'd love to have you. Send me an email at misheardsongs@gmail.com, and we'd love to talk to you. And don't forget if you're on iTunes, please subscribe to us. Give us a shout out by way of the reviews. 5 out of 5 would be great. And the more we get that from you guys, the more we can make these wonderful, fun shows and all these crazy rabbit holes I've been getting into. So stay safe. Miss you guys and can't wait for episode, 35 next week. Have a great week. Bye.